This is the Wheels Down Politics Show.
Sadly, the Holder Justice Department has been the most politicized Justice Department we've ever seen. And I want to contrast for a minute the silence of the Justice Department to the announcement this week from the Justice Department that they were bringing charges against Bob Menendez. And I will point out that the timing seems awfully coincidental. That in the week when Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu came to Washington, spoke in Congress about the enormous threat of President Obama's misguided deal with Iran that is opening the door to Iran acquiring nuclear weapons, and in the very week when Bob Menendez showed incredible courage to speak out and call out President Obama for the damage that his policy was doing to our national security, that coincidence is troubling. That very week, after 2 years, is when the Justice Department announces they're moving forward with a criminal prosecution. It raises a suggestion to other Democrats that if you dare part from the Obama White House, that criminal prosecutions will be used potentially as a political weapon against you as well. That's a serious concern. And contrast that with the crickets we have heard from the Department of Justice about Hillary Clinton's admitted conduct that by all appearances is in direct contrast with federal law.
So you think the Justice Department should investigate Hillary Clinton's use of private email?
Absolutely. When you have a major public official who publicly admits to conduct that on its face is directly contrary to federal law and may have violated criminal and felony prohibitions, the Justice Department has an obligation to do so, and to do so fairly and impartially, not to do so the way Eric Holder has handled other matters. For example, the IRS wrongful targeting of citizens, which broke over a year ago. The Holder Justice Department assigned that investigation to a major Democratic donor who's given over $6,000 to Barack Obama and the Democratic Party. I do not think it would be acceptable to see the Holder Justice Department open a sham investigation and assign it to a partisan Democrat to go nowhere. We need a Justice Department that fairly and impartially upholds the law.
And just to clarify your other point on Senator Menendez, you believe that Senator Menendez's potential indictment is motivated by his political opposition to Netanyahu's speech?
Now, my point is simpler.
His political support for Netanyahu.
My point is simpler. The timing is curious. This investigation has been going on for over a year, and yet the very week they announce a pending indictment comes within hours after Senator Menendez showing courage to speak out against President Obama's dangerous foreign policy that is risking the national security of this country. And the message that will be heard, if you're another Democratic senator who is troubled by the Obama-Clinton foreign policy that has alienated and abandoned the nation of Israel, that has jeopardized both the world and America's national security interests, and if you're thinking, maybe I too can screw up the courage to speak out for principle, even if it means criticizing the president of my own party, I got to say this week's announcement would give you real pause that, I'm reminded of liberal constitutional law professor Jonathan Turley, who I might note voted for President Obama, and he's testified before Congress, and he said, Barack Obama has become the embodiment of the imperial president. Barack Obama has become the president Richard Nixon always wished he could be. And the idea of using the criminal justice system to target your political enemies. Listen, we saw Dinesh D'Souza targeted. It certainly raises questions about the timing.
Are you arguing, Senator, last question?
I am observing that the timing is curious. And the message that will be heard, if you were a Democratic senator, the message that will be heard by other Democratic senators is criticize this president at your peril. That is dangerous. And let me note, listen, President Obama is not the first president in our nation's history to abuse his power. There have been presidents who were Democrats and Republicans who've done so. But in the past, you've had members of the president's own party in the Senate with the courage to stand up to the leaders of their party. What has been absent for the last 6 years have been Democrats in the Senate willing to challenge President Obama on virtually anything. Bob Menendez, when it came to standing up against this catastrophic Iranian nuclear deal, has shown unusual courage, and the timing of this announcement is at the very least troubling.
This has been the Wheels Down Politics Show. Read more at wheelsdownpolitics.com. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook at Wheels Down Politics.